Shout out to everyone listening to the Sparky Coach podcast. I am Crowie, aka Dart Intro Lord. How's that feel?
Good.
Feels good?
Yeah,
Because you're normally the intro Lord.
I am. But I will wrap this present at the end and
Oh, you're
take
gonna
over
wrap
the
it
outro
up.
Lord
Oh,
role.
I thought you meant rap like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air
I can do
kind
that
of rap.
too, just not very well.
Can you rap?
No, I'm well. I mean,
Slice, baby.
yeah, I've got many limitations to begin with musically.
Yeah, you were mentioning that before. And all right, so beers and basics. Gonna have a little beer. Got Byron Bays' finest Stone and Wood Cloudy Pale Ale. It's a bit of a
success story, and we love
a great success story.
We love talking about a bit of success.
Yeah. Now, it's a little bit different to the 4X you're used to.
It's a little treat.
Little treat. How's the palate? What do you want to
refined
suggest? Hint of olive. Anyway, we're talking about closing the day, and we're talking about how important it is to round the day off. You know, you just see so many people end up in that woe is me. I've got no work. I can't get like with what I know when the schedule's looking patchy for next week, but I haven't returned a phone call since Kurt Cobain released Smells Like Teen Spirit. Like I've only answered 10 calls and I've got 10 to go. So closing the day, it's such an important part of your day, whether you're a full-time office guru or full-time site lord or somewhere in between, you have to have some non-negotiables across the day. So I will not go to bed without that being done. It's so critical. And let me just preface this by saying there is a time in your life when you'll become the office guru. And at that point, you can get your work done between 7 and 5.
Yeah.
But there's a time in your life when you've just got to, politely, I'm just going to say, you've got to suck it up. And you've got to just make it happen. And you've got to, just like a newborn baby, you're up a lot and there's lots of...
or a teenager.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff to do when the business is starting out, when the business is new, when the business is fresh.
I would also say when the business is growing also too.
Yeah, the growing.
Because you can plateau out at certain stages, but then when you kick in a bit of growth as well, it's new challenges, new ways to do things.
Yeah, so you've got to have that. So let's talk about some items you have to close a day with. I'm a big believer that everyone has to have been gotten back to. So it's no good for someone to call you and then for you to just be like, oh, yeah, cool, well, I might call him back tomorrow. Maybe. It's just you have to have a non-negotiable. Like pull out in the driveway when you get home and sit there and make the 4 phone calls, or at least send a text message, hey, sorry, I missed you today. Coming at you tomorrow. How do you close the day in terms of phone calls and stuff? Obviously, you've got office office support.
This is probably an area that I'm constantly working at because I by no means perfected it, and also by no means perfect at it because I like to get distracted very easily. No, you just you sort of get taken and pulled different directions. So one way I try to do it is I have my my sort of tasks that I've got to do, or notes and lists and bits and pieces that you've got that you're working through the day, and basically attempt to get as many of them as you can done. I sort of genuinely feel that it's not always possible to get back to every single little thing, just because you might have been in a meeting for 4 hours. It was meant to be 2 hours with your best client, and that's just the way it is. Can you palm something else to someone off? Or can you at least send a little text message or some form of communication to buy yourself some time, basically, to let them know that, hey, I haven't forgotten about you, but just give me a little bit of time as well. And what I like to do in that scenario is be realistic about it. Are you going to be able to get back to them tomorrow? Look at your schedule and you're like, well, I've got to be at this site meeting. I've got this job to be at. I've got a conversation to have with this particular person that's going to take 2 hours already in my day. So look at that and be like, I'll get back to you tomorrow, knowing full well that you're already probably pushed to get back to them. So buy yourself the time that's needed. Hey, I'll have this resolved for you by the end of next week or by the end of this week or by the end of Tuesday, but just giving some kind of response.
Yeah, I'm a massive believer that all your quoting should be on time or on site. But there's times when you get caught, you get stuck, you get reprimanded, you get something.
Arrested.
You get arrested for whatever reason. But yeah, just saying like, okay, if you can't get back to the quote's not going to happen. Send them a text. Hey, unfortunately, didn't get round to that today. I'll have it to you tomorrow, by tomorrow midday, or by Friday midday, or give yourself some time and make sure it's booked in. And just make sure people are in the loop. That's the biggest thing, in the loop. And let's just face it, a non-negotiable for the day. You cannot go. You cannot not. You have to have the schedule sorted for tomorrow. That is like if you're just waking up and thinking you'll pop into places and everything's going to be all right. It's not going to happen. So schedule's got to be sorted for tomorrow.
Schedule should be sorted by lunchtime at an absolute minimum.
Did you just say shorted?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Shorted?
Yeah. And also just the opportunity cost. So we're talking more or less in around closing the day to help you find work. But like I said, so many people go, where's the work? It used to be here, now it's not there. It's almost the perfect storm. So if you're wrapped up in lots of work and you got a bit of money in the bank, you can always be lulled in a false sense of security. Like, I don't have to get back to those people because I've got heaps of work on. And then in 2 to 3 weeks' time, you wake up and be like, where's the work? What happened? Like Stewie when he's got, where's the money? Family Guy reference. I love that show.
Great, man. Great show.
Yeah. So just a matter of like, if you miss that job, you miss an opportunity, obviously, at that job to get the work done and get paid for it. But you miss the opportunity to get in with that client and their friendship group, their circle, their influence. Like, you miss that realm. You miss it's not you miss that, say, Google review. You miss the whole world of people they know.
Yeah.
I don't like using the word network. I think it's got a bit of a dirty name, but you don't just miss the client, you miss the client's network when you don't get back to that one client because they'll use someone else.
You need to search for a different word for network if you don't like it.
Is there a different word for network?
Spider's web.
What would you say?
Well, they're ongoing relationships.
Yeah.
Like
the network.
Yeah.
The
Facebook?
Facebook? Yeah. The circle. The circle of
connections,
influence.
like whatever. Yeah, there's all that. So I look at that in a really simplistic sort of sense that generally most of us have enough opportunity in front of us as it is. So have you, by closing the day, so we're sort of tying two things in together here is that, woe me, I have no work. But also how can, by just doing a simple task of closing your day out correctly, impact or influence the ability to get more work. Now that can be as simple as what quotes need to be done and then writing out that list and then working your way through it. The other thing I think really important around don't have enough work or I'm looking for more work and looking for more opportunities is based around closing the day out, and probably what I like to call is doing the point of difference things or doing the 5%ers or 1%ers sort of thing around how you approach your existing clients that you have and the information or feedback you're giving them about the current state of a job, how this particular job went, where we're at, or hey, you know how you're chasing that piece of information? Here it is. I'll get back to you in 3 weeks because I'm waiting for suppliers to get back to me, because I don't think you can underestimate ringing the builder, giving him a quick phone call and be like, hey, mate, just to let you know, the rough-in for such and such a street, it'll be done tomorrow. Just wanted to give you the heads up because it could have been it could have been going for a couple of weeks because it's quite a large job. Hey, just to let you know, everything went sweet yesterday on that underground that we had to do, because they might not have had a chance yet. And because what that does is, as humans, we talk. So then who does that person know in their circle?
Their network.
Who does that person know in their circle? And it's inevitable if you start to do just a couple of little things different to what maybe their existing Sparky does or their existing contractor that they're using does, it might be that they're having a beer with a couple of their other builder mates and they're like, oh, hey, what are you looking at then? You're like, oh, hey, Crowie just sent me the photos of the underground today, so that we're just going to upload them to so-and-so, or you already uploaded them to build a trend for them, so they've got it on history, and they're like, my Sparky doesn't do that.
Yeah, it's so interesting to talk about, hey, because no person leaving a review or telling their friends ever said, oh, I had this Sparky put a PowerPoint in, it works. How good's that? No one ever cares about it. No one's like, oh, did you see this PowerPoint? It's level. See those pendant lights? They're actually at the same height. Everyone's just assuming that you can do your job properly. And the points of difference, unfortunately for everyone out there, aren't in your physical work, because there's thousands of companies who can do exactly the same thing you can do. The point of difference is in communication, in, hey, the invoice was for $4,500. Exactly what they said, paid, their points of difference are, I call and they answer. The amount of people that the point of difference is they got a dustpan out and swept up. The point of difference is, they spoke so nicely to me, they patted my dog, bits and pieces like that. So the closing the day, it's such it's a good thing to boost your reputation. And just go read Google reviews in anything, and chances are it's all about, like, it might not be about the food at the restaurant, it's about the service. What was the service like? Not like, did I like the meal I ate? Because the meal is a holistic.
Was a lovely person.
Yeah. It's like, they got me sparkling water and only charged me $104, or like, it's always about something else. So yeah,
filtered through a turtle though, so I can understand.
Yeah, through a turtle's neck.
But yeah, so I think the key thing here, my sort of wrap up of this, or closing sort of thought around it, is that by just changing a couple of the things that you do, and in this instance, by changing the way you approach closing out the day, and by changing the way that you, I guess, tick that item off each day to make sure that you do it, instead of being, woe me, where's the work? What you will start to find is that the work begins coming to you, and the work also starts coming back to you, because it's as simple as that quote went out on time. I'm doing that slightly different. The client's really happy. They've talked to their circle, their network, their friends. So have a think about, what can I change in my end of day routine or closing out the day routine that will actually enable me or help me become more consistent in getting the work coming through the front door.
Yeah, sometimes we love to complain about there's no water, but we've turned the tap off. So turn the tap back on, get back to people, and watch it flow through you like the salmon of Capistrano. That's a Dumb and Dumber reference.
Is that it?
That's it.